Okay, take two. Right, let's go back to where we were. So annoying that is. Basically, there's been a lot of wind here today, and I think that's what's messing the internet up. Okay, is this even live or what? I think we are. Yes, we're live. Okay, that's better. Okay, here we go. That's that. I've got it sorted now, I think. Yeah, a lot of wind in the UK at the minute, and yeah, messing my internet up. I don't plan to be on here long, but just really wanted to do a quick stream. I was talking about Ortiz before I got cut off, but yeah, ultimately, I felt he was fairly poor last night. To be quite honest, I was expecting a lot more. Um, I know Christian Hamer's a durable guy, but you know the amount of hype Ortiz gets, you'd think he would put on a better performance than that. But it is what it is. What's up, Shepherd of Sons? How you doing? But I really enjoyed the main event. Lara, Castano, really good fight. I really enjoyed that. Lived up to the expectations. I was really looking forward to the fight beforehand, and yeah, Castano impressed me. I felt Lara fought a good fight as well. Yeah, I mean Hammer, that right hand, that was landing quite regularly on Luis Ortiz. Busted his nose. Yeah, I mean Hammer had success. He did. I know Hammer's not a bad fighter. He's not like a scrub. He's a good European level fighter, but you know, somebody who's as hyped as Ortiz should be beating him more decisively, in my opinion. I mean, Povetkin, he also went the distance, but Povetkin, he won every round and didn't take as many shots as Ortiz did. So, and Povetkin fought a better version of Hammer. I think Christian Hammer in the Ortiz fight was at a career heaviest, maybe. He was out of shape, I know that much. Oh yeah, I agree. Boxing brains. Hammer definitely beats Dave Allen easily. Hammer's a good fighter. He's a good, like a European level heavyweight. He'll beat guys who are not good enough. I mean, guys like David Price. He knocked David Price out. He also, who else did Hamer beat? He also beat Kevin Johnson. He beat that German prospect. Was it Wallish? He beat him. Christian Hamer's decent. Yeah, yeah, that's what I said that in the preview video for the Ortiz fight. Like Hamer, he can survive, as he showed against Povetkin. And I felt to myself, if he did that against Ortiz, Ortiz could struggle. But he came to fight. He gave it a go, and Ortiz still looked bad. Ortiz, theoretically, he wants a guy who's coming at him, being aggressive, letting his hands go. But Ortiz still looked bad. So I think Ortiz is done at the highest level. I really do. I think the Wilder fight was his last chance, and he blew it, basically. But no, he's Ortiz is a good fighter, but I've always found it a bit hard to get excited about him. I've never really seen him as the boogeyman or the second best heavyweight in the world, as some people said. But he's a decent fighter. Just a bit overrated, in my opinion. Which is fine. Fighters get overrated. Happens a lot. But it's going to be interesting to see where Ortiz goes next. Yeah, Charles Martin, that's a good shout. I'd watch that fight. I'd watch Ortiz versus Kaunaki. I think that'd be a good fight. I mean, it would be a great test for Kaunaki, but also for Ortiz. If he beats somebody like Kaunaki, it's a good look. So Ortiz versus Kaunaki, to me, makes sense. Joyce, I mean, somebody mentioned that on the previous stream. Joe Joyce versus Luis Ortiz. It's a good fight. Still might be a bit early for Joe Joyce, but it might be worth a risk now. You never know. Yeah, you're probably right. Kaunaki for Wilder, yeah. Apparently, I'm sure I read somewhere that Heyman promised Kaunaki a shot at Wilder. Maybe I misread it, but I think Kaunaki, I think he can give Wilder some problems if he gets close. If he gets on Wilder's chest, it could be interesting for a bit. But you can't see Kaunaki going through that fight without walking onto a big right hand and getting knocked out. But I think that would be a fun fight while it lasted. Kaunaki is interesting. I do like him. I'd rather see Kaunaki than Brazil, to be honest. I think Brazil is. I don't know. I just think he's even more made to order for Wilder than Kaunaki. At least Kaunaki can fight up close. Kaunaki's good on the inside. To me, Brazil isn't. He's just a big swinger. Doesn't really do much else. Yeah, I've said that one as well. Kaunaki versus Ruiz. That'd be a tremendous fight. Two fat guys just throwing punches. Both guys have good hand speed. Both guys, put their shots together well. Both guys are fairly aggressive. Both guys can punch. Kaunaki versus Ruiz would be tremendous. Really would. JT, thoughts on the White and Lawrence Okoli beef? I don't think it's set up. I think it's just Dillian White biting. Dillian White, he's not going to take too kindly to like Lawrence Okoli putting the sparring business out there. It is what it is, really. Okoli actually looked quite good in that little clip that I saw, though. He was actually he was moving a lot more. He looked a lot more fluid. Maybe that's the influence of Barry Robinson. I think that's a good trainer for Lawrence Okoli. I really do. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit silly, really, the beef. I can't see them ever. No, sorry, I got a really bad throat. I can't see them ever fighting. So, and right now, White would knock him out. Baby ting. My cat's fucking fuck off. Ugh. Okay, Sean Burke, AJ KOs Ortiz in 3 rounds. I think Canelo knocks out Jacob cold. What do you think? I agree with you on Joshua Ortiz. I think Joshua knocks out Ortiz fairly early. Whether it's in 3 rounds or not, I don't know. But I think he knocks him out in the first 6. Um, as for Canelo knocking out Jacobs cold, it could happen. Pirog basically did it. And Canelo has great timing, great punching power. I think he could knock out Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs, sometimes he'll lose his shape, and he'll throw wide punches. And if Canelo can sort of time in between that with his right hand, that straight right, he could easily knock him out cold. But I'm hoping Danny Jacobs has something special for us. I really am. I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping Jacobs wins. To be honest, I like Danny Jacobs, and I'm not really a big Canelo fan. So yeah, I'd like to see Jacobs do it, but I think Canelo's going to beat him personally. Yeah, Canelo does have a really good arsenal of punches. The thing is with Canelo, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. When it just comes to watching him fight, I love watching him fight. Lovely combinations, power, speed, timing, good defense. I love watching Canelo. It's just everything that comes with him, the politics, the drug testing, all of that nonsense. Just makes it hard to get behind him, to be honest. 54 Trail Swan. The heavyweight division is losing luster. I prefer when multiple guys hold titles. Yeah, right now it's just in a bit of a stalemate. Joshua's not fighting Wilder. Wilder's not fighting Fury in a rematch, and it's just nothing's really popping off. Nothing really. No, there's nothing really to get excited about at heavyweight right now. It's a bit sad, really, to be honest. And it goes to show, actually, the fight I'm looking forward to most at heavyweight is Povetkin versus Usyk. And that's Usyk coming up from cruiserweight. Sorry, my throat's really bad. Yep, Jacobs. He needs to knock out Canelo Alvarez, because Jacobs could win 8 rounds to 4, and he loses 7-5 on the cards. He could win. Canelo's cards are ridiculous. Lewis Hurley. Would I say we're in a heavyweight golden era right now? I don't think so. I mean, take out Wilder versus Fury, and Joshua versus Fury or Wilder. What other great fights are out there? I think you've got a lot of great prospects coming up at heavyweight, and maybe in 5 years' time, the division could be really, really strong. But right now, I think it's very top heavy. The 3 main guys, Fury, Wilder, and Joshua, I think are all very good fighters. But like after that, there's not too much there. Povetkin's getting old. Ortiz is getting old. Dillian White is decent, but very flawed. Jarrell Miller not great. I mean, there's not much out there. Yeah, I don't see it as a golden era. I'll be honest. Ruben Guerrero, Joe Joyce will be knocking on the door year's end. Yep. Oh, that's a good fight. Daniel Dubois versus Nathan Gorman. That's a really good fight. Who do I see winning? I'll be honest. I think Dubois will knock him out. I know that's kind of seems to be like the like I don't know. The consensus is that Gorman is a better boxer and Dubois is stiff and rigid. But I was impressed with Dubois against Kevin Johnson, how he kind of managed his stamina, how he kind of navigated himself through the fight. I was impressed with Dubois in that fight. And on the flip side, Nathan Gorman against Castano to me was very, very, very basic. He didn't really. I don't know. He didn't look great at all. I don't know. Something tells me Dubois beats him. Not confident, but I think Dubois beats him. And sorry, by the way, if I'm not the most clear right now. Um, Coming off a bit of a virus, so I'm not my most clear. I need to slow down a bit actually when I talk because my throat's going. Sean Burke, Joe Joyce is trash. I can see why some people think he's trash. Defensively, Joyce needs a lot of work. He does. Ruben Guerrero, he reckons Dubois cleans out Nathan Gorman. I think Dubois wins. I think Dubois he got a lot of unfair criticism in that Kevin Johnson fight, but you've got to put things in perspective and like put it in context. Really, I mean, look at everybody who's beat Kevin Johnson. Joshua is the only guy to really stop him, um, and Peter Milias also stopped him, but Milias stopped him on a cut. So Joshua was the only guy to blast him out. And look at all the other guys who beat Kevin Johnson. Look at Pulev. Pulev beat Johnson when Pulev was a contender, and Dubois did a better job on it. Dubois did a much better job against Kevin Johnson than Pulev. But, people are still criticising Dubois for going all 10 rounds. But, in context, I felt Dubois looked pretty good, to be honest. Um, yep, I agree with Aobs. No need to rush Dubois. Give him a couple of years of learning fights. Needs to improve his defense when punching. Yeah, I'd agree with that. When he exchanges, he does look open, especially to straight punches. A good straight counter puncher could get inside on Dubois and find the chin. It's a good observation. I think the fight with Castano is a good fight for him. Castano is tall. He's negative. I think he's a southpaw as well. That's a good bit of matchmaking for Dubois and a good comparison. When you compare Gorman and Dubois, who beat Castano better, providing Dubois beats Castano, of course. Did you hear Golovkin could be fighting in Dam or Falcao for his comeback? Andrade is fighting the Selecki Rosado winner in June. I didn't hear that, no. I think the Ndam fight is better, just because Ndam is more proven. And Ndam is coming off a good win over Martin Murray as well. Yeah, Falcao, he was the Brazilian. Was he the Olympian? Well, there's two Falcao brothers, weren't there? I'm sure there's two of them. But yeah, I've never really been impressed with either Falcao. I'm sure there's two. I've got no idea, Aobs. No idea at all what's going on with Billy Joe. That's it, Shepherd of Sons. Yep, two. I thought there was two. Yeah, exactly. Shepherd of Sons, a golden era where Klitschko victims are still in the top 10, and one holds a belt in Char. Yeah, it's not a golden era. Not saying it's bad, but not a golden era at all. Sean Burke, Saunders is trying to get the Andrade fight again. Saunders schools Andrade. Andrade is trash. Um, I think that's a close fight. If they do fight, I think it's a 50-50. And you've got to consider it would be in America. Andrade's the champion. Anything close is going to Andrade. Billy Joe's got to win very clear. And Billy Joe, in a lot of his big fights, doesn't always win clear. I mean, you look at that Eubank fight. He let Eubank come into it. The John Ryder fight was very close. Even the Andy Lee fight, he let Andy Lee back into that fight. And if you have a close fight in America with Andrade, Billy Joe's not going to get a decision. So yeah, I'd probably lean towards Andrade, to be honest. I'm not saying Billy Joe can't win. I think he's certainly good enough to win, but away from home, as the challenger, I don't know. Yeah, he did. Andrade versus Jack Kokai. Yeah. Although to be fair to Andrade, he did something that not many American fighters do, and that's travel. A lot of American fighters, they stay at home. Fighting abroad is something completely different. It's a different feel. It's a different atmosphere. You know, Andrade went to Germany to fight Kokai, and he still won the fight, in my opinion. And also the Varnes fight, I remember that fight. He got dropped in that one. And yeah, it was fairly close. But again, I felt Andrade did sneak it. What's my take on Kell Brook these days? I mean, Kell Brook, I don't know. I think people in the UK, we have a habit of overrating our boxers. But I've always genuinely believed in Kell Brook's talent. I think the guy had all the ability in the world, but he never took his career seriously. Spent too long fighting sea-level fighters. He didn't step up quick enough. He doesn't live the life outside the ring. Does things that he shouldn't do, and it's just not really worked out. Spent far too long chasing the Khan fight, and yeah, it's just not worked out. He's not made the most of his talent, Kell Brook, at all. I think he'll go down. For me, he'll go down as a wasted talent. Yeah. So I think Kell Brook, he was obviously with Frank Warren for a bit, and under Frank Warren, he was the mandatory for Manny Pacquiao when Pacquiao had the WBO title at welterweight. I think Brook was Pacquiao's mandatory, or he was the number one. Sorry, he was the number one contender in like 2011 for Pacquiao, or 2010 maybe. I mean, Brook should have stepped up a long time ago. A long time ago. But he just kept on fighting less than stellar competition. He finally stepped up against Porter, got the win, and never built on it. Never built on it. New Day, Brook and Khan will retire next year. Yeah, I could see that. Sean Burke, yeah, maybe even this year. I mean, if Brook loses, I think he'll definitely retire. If Khan loses, well, when he loses to Crawford, I think he'll carry on personally. But yeah, Ted, world class cheeseman. Ted, fucking Swiss cheeseman. His defense has awful. Sean Burke, Del Boy, do you think Crawford is overrated? I think he's a complete hype job. 58 and 12 as an amateur, and he's fought nobody yet as a pro. No, I think Crawford's good. I rated his win over Postal. I think that was a good win. Um, I liked how he deconstructed Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn's limited as hell, but he's a big welterweight, and that proved that Crawford, in my opinion, was strong enough for welterweight. Um, Listen, Crawford's resume isn't great. It's not strong, but you know he's a talented fighter. He can do a bit of everything. He can fight out of southpaw or orthodox stance. Decent on the inside, decent from range. He can counter. He can finish you. Yeah, I think Crawford's decent. I think he's a really well-rounded fighter. I prefer Crawford to the likes of Errol Spence, to be honest. Whether Crawford could beat Errol Spence or not is a different story. But no, that's a good point, Sean, about Crawford's chin. He got buzzed by Gamboa, and Gamboa, let's be honest about it, he wasn't a lightweight, and he still managed to buzz Crawford. Now that could be due to Crawford having a bad chin, or it could be down to the fact that Crawford had to make the weight. Crawford is a big guy, and cutting down to 135, it must have affected his punch resistance at that weight. It must have. So maybe it wasn't necessarily his chin is that bad. Maybe maybe it was also due to the weight cut. Yeah, Aob's the Golovkin fight ruined Brook. Yeah, I agree. Whether he would have beaten Spence or not, I don't know. He would have. I think he would have had a much better chance. Aob's Crawford is one of the best fighters in the sport. The eye test alone should show you that. Yeah, the thing is with Crawford, I just see him as a well-rounded fighter. There's nothing he can't do, and to me, that's a sign of a good fighter. I'm not sure whether you can hear the wind in the background. It's so fucking rough outside. Ruben Guerrero, Khan versus AB after Crawford. I'd watch that. I think Khan beat AB? Khan looked pretty bad against Samuel Vargas. AB looked awful against Manny Pacquiao. If AB lets his hands go and lands one on the chin, he could knock Khan out. But I think Khan would just box around him, to be honest. I'd watch it though, just out of intrigue. Yeah, I think Crawford is getting a bad deal at welterweight. Errol Spence, oh, you're on the wrong side of the street. Nobody wants to hear that. Sean Porter doesn't really seem keen. Danny Garcia has ducked Terence Crawford already. I mean, yeah, Crawford, he's saying the right things. I think he wants the fights. The other welterweights don't want to fight him, as far as I'm concerned. Do you think Porter would fight Crawford? I don't know. I think Porter would be a really tough fight for Crawford, just due to the style. But yeah, yeah, that'd be great, Ruben. Thurman fight. Yeah, I'd love that. Aobs reckons Adrian Broner KO's Khan. I could see it happening. No, it's a fact. Didn't Danny Garcia? I'm sure he turned down an ESPN. Was it ESPN pay per view to fight Crawford? If Crawford's that unproven, why not go? Why not take that pay per view money, take Crawford's belt? If Crawford is that protected, chinny, it should be an easy fight. I think Danny knows he gets beat. I think it'd be a lopsided decision, to be honest. And who is Danny Garcia fighting in the meantime? Adrian Granados. I'm not saying Crawford's perfect. As I said, his resume isn't the strongest. It's not, but it's not necessarily always. It's not only down to him, in my opinion, especially at welterweight. I mean, you got the PBC guys, for example. They've got all the fighters, and they're not making the fights. Thurman's not fighting Spence. Spence isn't fighting Porter. We've got Spence versus a lightweight. So 54 Trail Swan. I don't think so. I think Ali now is pretty much done. Not done, but I don't think he's going to be like a world level fighter anymore. I think he caught Koto at the right time, and yeah, he struck gold with that one. To be honest, I felt Porter looked pretty good against Danny Garcia at times. He tried to box a bit more against Garcia. Boxing brains, who was better out of Macklin, Murray, or Barker? I'd say Murray, personally. I think Murray was better. Yeah, I agree, Sean. I think Spence will run through Mikey. It's just a weird fight for Mikey to take. Maybe he sees something, but I just can't see it working out well for him. I really can't. And I think, yeah, I think Spence by mid-round knockout. Think Mikey will start well. Mikey being the smaller man, in the first couple of rounds, the speed difference could be apparent. Maybe Errol is a bit like he needs to work out Mikey, but as soon as Errol starts to find that body, it's a wrap. Yeah, that's how I see it, Sean. I see Mikey as being the guy who's, he's almost being used as like a sacrificial lamb, I suppose, to make Spence look, like a beast and increase his profile. Yeah, the thing is, I like Spence. I love his style of fighting. I do. I mean, it's entertaining, but it's a cherry pick. Let's be honest about it. It's a cherry pick. I see it the same as I saw Khan versus Canelo and Brook versus Golovkin. That's how I see the fight. Just a weight jump fight. There's too many of these type of fights in boxing, and these type of fights can ruin fighters because Brook's never been the same since the Golovkin fight. I'm sure Khan won't be the same since that after that Canelo knockout. Yeah, Ruben Guerrero, Coley versus White. I saw the beef, I saw the sparring clip, but in a real fight at heavyweight, you'd have to pick Dillian White. But I do like the development from Lawrence Coley. I think Barry Robinson is a really good trainer for him, and I've really been impressed. Um, I'm impressed with Barry Robinson. I agree, Lewis Hurley. I think Porter gets very underrated, and I think he's very underappreciated as well. And yeah, I mean, the Furman fight was very close. A lot of close rounds in that fight. I felt the Brook fight was close as well, to be honest. Porter Brook, I felt that was close. Johnny Payne, Garcia can win. The other guys had no chance. I don't know, man. Yeah, Crawford Porter would be a really good fight. I think stylistically, it's a different fight for Crawford. I mean, has Crawford ever really fought anybody like Sean Porter? I suppose the closest would be Felix Diaz. Felix Diaz can kind of swarm and pressure, but he doesn't do it to the extent that Sean Porter does it. Doesn't have that same strength as Porter or that same intensity. Porter would be something completely different for Errol Spence. Sorry, for Terence Crawford. That'd be a great fight. Yeah, Ugas, he's worth a bet. Shepherd of Sons, he's worth a bet. Ugas is a good boxer, carries a bit of power as well. I was impressed with Ugas's last performance. He fought that Argentinian guy. I know the Argentinian guy weren't much, but I was really impressed with how he boxed. Nah, Porter's not a bum. He's a good fighter. He's just got an ugly style. Ugas is the new Cuban hope. Maybe, man, maybe. Yeah, he's on a roll, Ugas. Yeah, you're right. He's bounced back well. He had a few defeats early on. I think was it two or three defeats early on. Um, but he's come back well. Also, what do you guys make of speaking of Cubans, Andrew Tabiti versus Unia Dorticos? I think that's a really good fight. Looking forward to that one. I think Dorticos will win. I think he might knock Tabiti out, to be honest. Ruben Guerrero. No, I didn't. I've not seen the Brown fight yet. The Sokolovsky fight. Not seen it yet. Yeah, boxing brains. The Lucas Brown Dave Allen fight. I've been saying Lucas Brown since the fight got made, but I do want to go and see the Lucas Brown versus Sokolovsky fight just to see how Brown looked. Yeah, I heard Sokolovsky was robbed, but I'm not sure. I've not seen it. Sokolovsky is a credit to the sport, by the way. I've said it before though, and I'll say it again. The guy, he's a journeyman, but he always comes to fight. He's always in really good shape. He's just a credit to the sport, and far better than his record indicates. Yeah, 54 Trail Swan. Lucas Brown is terrible, but Dave Allen will still go life and death. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy Dave Allen last fought was useless, and he gave Dave Allen hell. Oh, MB reckons Tabiti wins against Dorticos. I think he's got a shot, but I just think Dorticos is too experienced, hits too hard. Yeah, Dave Allen is pretty bad. Let's be honest about it. He's a good lad, but you know, should you be on Sky Sports because you've got should you be on Sky Sports because you've got good banter? Should you be on Sky Sports because you've got a good social media following? Not really. Yeah, Sokolovsky has some decent technique as well. He's got a much better jab than Dave Allen for a start. Yeah, a Jagba would knock out Dave Allen. I know Dave Allen's got a good chin, but a Jagba would just piece him up and knock him out. Sean Burke, I would say David Hay by far. If I were to rank them, Hay number one, Groves number two. Oh no, actually, yeah, Hay number one, Groves number two, DeGale three, Bellew four. Yeah, I'm just looking at clips of it now. Boxing brains. Brown, he's like jabbing from his waist. He's like flicking his jab up. It's got nothing on it at all. Yep. And there's Dave Kirkwood. There's far too many of those type of fighters on Sky. Like too many gimmicks. Um, too many ticket sellers. Just it gets a bit annoying. I mean, like Dave Allen. I mean, fucking would he beat Fabio Wardley, that young prospect? I don't know. I mean, who can he beat? Yeah, Sky to me, like I don't know, like Sam Eggington, he's another one. I mean, how he's got this fight with Liam Smith, I don't know. He got banjoed in his last fight against a guy who he was supposed to roll over. He gets knocked out in that fight. He gets knocked out in a stay busy fight and gets to fight Liam Smith. It's insane. Dave Kirkwood, do I rate Eubank Jr.? I think he's better than people give him credit for. I don't think he's like a world level boxer in term. Like I don't think he's ever going to be the best in his division, whether it's 160 or 168. But he's a tough kid, good chin, good stamina, and he comes to fight. Not the best, he won't be the best, but he's decent. Dave Kirkwood. Lucas Brown is a fat lump of shit. I can't even. I can't even disagree. Yeah, exactly, Ruben. Okay, Sean Burke. I'd like to see Anthony Sims Jr. step up this year at 168, maybe against Bramer or Abraham. Yep, good shouts. I'll be honest. I've still not really seen much of Anthony Sims Jr. I've seen his interviews, but I've not really seen too much of his fights. So I need to research him and look up on him. I know he won this weekend against a journeyman. Abraham is a punching bag with eyes. It's true these days, to be fair. Do I class Baranchik as a duck if he pulls out of a World Boxing Super Series? Yeah, I think so. I mean, the date's set. Just take the fight. And the thing is, so people gave Jose Ramirez a lot of abuse for not going in the tournament. So if somebody pulls out, we've got to give them the same, right? So I don't know. I think it'd be a duck personally, but yeah, 168 is quite weak. Smith is, I would say, a good world champion, but other than that, it's pretty bare. Caleb Plant, how good is he? I'm not convinced. Eubank Jr., we all know about him. Benavidez, he looks the part, but he still needs to get a couple of good wins to prove himself. 168 right now is pretty weak. I'd agree. Yeah, I agree. Boxing brains. Dave Allen can come in shape, but if he's not worked on his defense, it's a bit pointless. What do I think of Dillian White turning down the AJ money? I mean, I don't get what the end goal is. I mean, what else is there for him? Where are the better options? I think he should have taken it personally, but I'm not Dillian White. Jake Cleary, Kelly, Taylor, Boatsi, Yard, Gill, Fowler. All these are future world champions. Um, I think Boatsi can be a world champion. I think Josh Taylor will be a world champion as well. But apart from that, I'm not sure. Fowler, I'm unconvinced. Jordan Gill looks good. I was really impressed with what I saw last night with Jordan Gill. Anthony Yard, far too unproven in my opinion. And Josh Kelly, I'm not sold on Josh Kelly. I think Benavidez was just on the Charlie. To be fair, what's up, Chase Athletics? How you doing? Anthony Fowler seems like a twat. A lot of people say that on Twitter. Shepherd of Suns, Fowler will be food at 154. Defensively, he needs to tighten up. I do like his next fight though. Will Kovalev Yard happen? Nah, Yard is not going anywhere near Kovalev until Kovalev is shot to pieces. That fight will never happen. I don't know what the end goal is with Anthony Yard. I don't know. Yard's been ducking Hosea Burton. Yeah, exactly. I mean, when Yard doesn't even want to fight his domestic rivals, it's hard to get excited about him. And to be honest, with Boatsi coming through, he looks like way advanced, so much more advanced than Anthony Yard. If Josh Taylor wins the World Boxing Super Series, I could see him making it. I think Josh Taylor would beat Maurice Sukovo. Yeah. I mean, Anthony Yard, he clearly has talent for a guy who started boxing late and had very little amateur background. He's a quick learner. He's got talent, but I mean, the level of matchmaking can't be helping him. You know, I just can't see that working out well. I think that'll end badly. He'll get knocked out as soon as he steps up. Ruben Guerrero, I think there's real talent in Joe Joyce. He just needs a better opponent than Stavern to show it. I think Joyce is interesting. My thing on Joyce, regardless what happens, it's going to be fun to watch him. It's going to be a fun ride, whether he like becomes a heavyweight champion or not. Um, it's going to be very fun following his career. If Joyce has a world class chin, he will be a problem. He's going to be a problem for anybody if his chin is world class. And like somebody said earlier, based on Luis Ortiz's performance last night, maybe that's a fight Joe Joyce should go for next. Because I felt Ortiz looked really poor last night. Yeah, I think Kovalev would knock Yard out. Right hand over that shoulder roll. Yard's shoulder roll is terrible. Yeah, Kovalev right hand. Good night. I'd watch it though. I'd like to see Kovalev come over to the UK again. I saw him in Wales when he fought Cleverly, and I'd like to see Kovalev again. Yeah, exactly. Yard fights super middleweights from Latvia. Yeah, I mean his next opponent, Travis Reeves. I've never heard of him. Yeah, I mean if Luis Ortiz gassed against Joe Joyce, he's in for a world of hurt. Sullivan Barrera beats Yard. I think I agree. I agree with that. See, that fight was talked about. I think they was talking about that fight end of last year. Uh, Anthony Yard versus Sullivan Barrera. That would be a tremendous fight for Yard. It'd be a massive step up, and I'd be interested in it. I really would. Craig Richards beats Yard. Don't know about that. Craig Richards has improved quite a lot, but I need to see a bit more. Having said that, yards beat nobody, so maybe. I don't think he's going to retire anytime soon. MS 21, Boatsi and Sims beat Yard. I think Boatsi would knock Yard out. I think he'd knock him clean out. And as for Anthony Sims, I need to see, a bit more footage. I've not actually really sat down and looked at Anthony Sims Jr. yet. That's jokes. Adam Scott. Anthony Yard has met more Boilerman than a British Gas interviewer. Yeah. Right, lads. I'm gonna call it a night. Probably do a live stream. I'd say midweek, maybe. Hopefully, this cold is gone and I can sound a bit more coherent. But yeah, thanks for showing out. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.